Hey guys, Portia here, and today I want to share with you all 3 tips to help you produce the best sublimation clack fan possible. So this is the example fan that we will be using in our video today, and if we close it, it does make the clacking sound, but I want to tell you or share with you all the tips that I use to ensure that this does what I wanted it to do. So first off, I want to share that the tools that you use are important. So one question that I did get is, how do I get clean, vibrant results on my sublimated fabric? So the reason why I say materials do matter is because you want to use high quality sublimation paper as well as ink, and then you of course make sure your design is mirrored before you press and all that good stuff. Those are the basic rules to sublimation. But for me personally, I love the vibrancy and the color in this particular fan. My go-to sublimation paper is a sub, and I have been using Printer's Jack ink pretty much since I started sublimation or sublimating. Over time, I have had an opportunity to use other inks, and I always find myself going back to Printer's Jack. Now guys, by the way, everything that I discussed in today's video will be linked in the description below, so you can find these same things yourself. Okay guys, the next question that I got was, and the tip that I want to share with you all is, how do I keep the material from wrinkling or bubbling when pressing? So a couple of things here, and I had to learn this myself because the first time I did this, now I did produce a video with a full-length tutorial, I'll link it in the description, but the first time I did this, I ended up warping my fabric and I burned it, so it was shrinking and all that other stuff. So a couple of things, you definitely want to make sure you use the lint roller. So that's sublimation 101. You want to press the fabric for about 5 to 10 seconds, give or take, just to make sure that it is nice and flat. We don't want to sublimate on wrinkles, and of course we don't want any moisture on there. Now this is the really important part. The fabric that comes with these sublimation fans is super duper thin, so temperature as well as pressure does matter. So I pressed at 380 degrees for 45 seconds, and I do use light pressure. So even if you decide to skip the lint rolling and you decide to skip the initial press, make sure your temperature, pressure, and your time is right. Again, we got 380 degrees, 45 seconds, and then that is with light pressure. So if you are able to adjust the pressure on your machine, make sure you do that. Or if you have enough material left, just go ahead and do some tests first. The last thing you want is to be disappointed because something came out wrong when you went on ahead and pressed your design. Now, the last thing I want to talk to you guys about is assembly. So during my practice runs, I had a very difficult time keeping the spokes, or the ribs is what these are called. I had a very difficult time keeping them in place while I was trying to place the material on the fan. So what you can do is get a cutting mat, and I use my Cricut cutting mat. I already had that. This particular mat is 18 by 24. You can go ahead and lay your ribs down, and you can use the measurement in order to evenly space your ribs. So that way you're able to play with them. They're not moving all around while you're trying to put the fabric on. And then once they are placed the way you like, you could use some masking tape to tape down the ribs, so that way they are stable and they are not moving. From there, it makes it much easier to lay your double-sided tape down on each spoke, and the tape should be approximately 7 inches. If you do 7 inches of double-sided tape, then you should be fine with actually gluing down the fabric itself. And from there, you just go one spoke at a time. So the spokes on, or rather the ribs on the left and the right, are called the guards. So you start at the guard, or either you could start in the middle, whichever you're comfortable with. I like starting at the guard at this point. And then I lay the fabric down and I press, and so I remove the top layer of the double-sided tape. I lay the fabric down and I press. First, I make sure that everything is lined up properly before I get to pressing the fabric into the tape. And then literally, guys, one spoke at a time until we are all done. And once you're done, go ahead and do the test. So do your quality control test, especially if you are selling these fans. Make sure you hit it, snap, that clack, because that's what everybody is looking for these days with these particular fans. So guys, that is all I have for you today. I just want to share with you all a few tips that I have learned with sublimating these Clack fans. If you have any questions or concerns, emotional outbursts, let me know. If you found the video helpful or just plain old entertaining, go ahead and give it a like. But guys, as always, stay colorful, stay creative, and always find joy in the little things you do. Until next time, peace.